Todd.
All right, folks. Big Paul here. Dr. Todd, Chewbacca, and the man himself, Chase Irons. We're going to have fun today. All right, I got to do my intro to pay homage to my sponsors and to let the people that are fools and do stupid stuff not to do stupid stuff. Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Well, that one didn't have my first attachment promo in there, but for those of you who aren't in the know, first attachment, it's where all you get all your great supplements from. What's up, guys? A lot going on this week.
Up?
What up? Half Lord Tory's pack. Nick Trigili got banned from YouTube.
Oh man, I was hoping we'd talk about that.
All sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Where do we start first? I'm not a big drama guy. You know, I don't wish anybody ill on their YouTube channel, but
I mean, that's it's in that sense, it's pretty awful because like I couldn't imagine if I woke up and my channel was gone. Like that would definitely be a huge hit, you know.
What happened to Todd before? You had a pretty good channel going, man, and you got nuked.
Yeah, it was 100% of my income was gone overnight.
Brutal.
And you know, I never built it back up. But I was banned from ever using YouTube as long as I live. So I couldn't even watch it. I had to create a new identity just to watch YouTube.
Well, you never do anything in half measures, Todd.
Right. I mean, it was
overachiever.
Like Dylan Gemelli and Tony Hughes were back on the next day after the purge, but I was gone for life. I don't understand how that works, but
you must have really pissed somebody off.
Yeah, I guess so. And so like with the Nick Trigili thing, he had just released a video that was completely erroneous about Martin because I immediately messaged Martin. I'm like, dude, I didn't know you're homeless. He's like, I'm not homeless. Don't listen to anything Nick says. I was like, okay. Because I know for a fact he was completely wrong about Sunny Andrews on almost every count. That I don't know whether she cheated in her residency, but everything he was saying, how she's not a doctor, he actually disproves himself because you couldn't be in a residency if you weren't a doctor. You don't get to go to residency if you're not a doctor. That you have to graduate from medical school. You get a diploma that says Doctor of Medicine on it. You're always a doctor, period. That's completely, no one can take that away. Then if you cheat in residency, that doesn't really make sense. I think what he was trying to say is that she cheated on her USMLE Step 3 because there's no test in residency. It's just that in order to complete a residency and be a specialist, at one point during the internship or residency, you have to do as USMLE Step 3. At that point, if she cheated, then she would never get to be licensed. And that might be true. She might not have a license, but you're still a doctor if you don't have a license. You just practice under someone else's license. All the doctors at the hospital are practicing under the hospital's license while they're in residency. So that completely disproves everything he said. So it's like, okay, he's grossly wrong about this. And I made a comment and sent him a message and he ignored it and continued to post incorrect information. So it's like, so out of the two stories that I followed on his channel, both were completely wrong. So he's like a Paul Revere screaming the English are coming, and there's no English. That in fact there was an earthquake and England sank into the goddamn ocean. He is the worst journalist in history. So I can understand why they would take him off because he's constantly slandering people on almost a daily basis.
I mean, you could pick and choose the people he pissed off. It was a ton of people. I mean,
he went hard on a lot of people. Yeah,
he definitely went hard on Derek for more plates, more days.
Yeah, I mean that like Derek's almost got 2 million subs now. It's like I don't think you want to mess with that. You know?
I don't know if you want to pick a fight with Derek. That's probably not a smart. And he was like posting the private DMs they had with each other up on his channel.
So that's what I was thinking was like
Whoa.
part of it probably has to do with him showing like private messages, you know, without people's consent. Surely, you know, like there might be something that plays a role in there. That
should be illegal, even if it isn't illegal.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. You got to have a big set of balls to do something like that. That's it's not or just not smart.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the latter.
Oh man, but I don't wish ill on the guy, and I'm sure he's in a full blown panic today, losing all his income. But he sort of asked for it, to be honest with you.
Sometimes one makes one's bed.
He's been banned. You know, his channel's been canceled 3 separate times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's just whatever lesson he's supposed to learn, he isn't learning.
Well, I've heard once you're on the naughty list, you're there forever. Even when you bring up a new channel,
that's it. Yeah, you bring up a new channel, they're going to be watching you. You know.
Yeah, you're on the radar at that point. Well, I don't know what to say, but that was not a smart decision. How's the Serostim experiment going?
Looks like it's going well.
It's going pretty good.
You're looking unreal, dude.
It's going pretty good. Well, so last week when I was talking to you guys, I was talking about like my hands were so numb that they hurt when I was sleeping. That was Saturday, so like I didn't do it Saturday night. I didn't pin a vial Saturday night. Sunday, completely gone. 5 days straight, 0 numb hands. 2 days ago, I started feeling it again. Last night, felt it significantly. So I'm probably going to take another day off today and then start back tomorrow. And that seems to keep all the negative. Like that's the only negative that I'm experiencing. So
to clarify, you're saying you took 1 day off.
1 day off.
Resumed every day, and it took 4 days for the levels to accumulate to such a point that you have edema in your hands.
I mean, I wouldn't call it edema because like my hands aren't like swollen or anything. It's like I feel like something like with my nerves, something gets impinged in like my armpit and my whole arm.
Brachial plexus gets compressed.
Yeah, and then so 1 day off, it goes completely away, and it takes about 4 or 5 days for it to come back.
Well, I guess I should have said carpal tunnel. Yeah, because pregnant women often get carpal tunnel.
Yeah,
and that's from edema, but it's not localized edema. It's just they're holding so much extra water that they end up getting carpal tunnel.
Yeah,
and I think the mechanism's the same. It's just sodium retention at the kidneys, and it takes you 5 days to build up.
Yeah. So, so doing 6 days on, 1 day off. That's been, I think that's going to be kind of the way forward. But I mean, I've got 5 or 6 weeks left of it, so I think I'm at like the halfway point. But yeah, so I this last week I backed off on carbs a little bit, just so I can like legitimately start dieting. And today I was 255. But yeah, I mean it's crazy. I just feel like something's different every single day, just like as far as like leanness goes or fullness somewhere. It's very, things change fast. It's very weird.
Man, I tell you what, I bought a Tesla and a puppy this week, and then I was rethinking my buying decisions. I'm like, God damn it, man, maybe I should have bought Serostim instead.
Puppy, car, Serostim.
I don't know, man. It's a hard choice. I want to get that pro card at Masteron.
I mean, it seems, I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna run it until
you go bankrupt
till the end of May. I'm going to take June off of it. And then, I see what happens in June as far as like, how much water weight comes out or how much, how flat I get from coming off of it. But I'm going to take June off when we go on vacation and then, make a decision whether or not to continue or whatever. So
I won't name who, but I had a friend who has a friend that's a pro bodybuilder and said that's the exact protocol they run with the HGH. Huh. It's camp. I won't name a name.
I know. We all know the camp.
The camp. But that's the protocol.
Yeah.
It's just to follow the directions.
Yeah. So I just follow the pamphlet. Yeah. So I brought it in because I was, re-looking at it today, and it's really interesting. Like they put a bunch of different like studies that they did on it, showing like, you know, it seems for, I mean, all of the ideas are for HIV patients, but it seems that like most of the results go up until 12 weeks, and then that kind of like stabilizes at that for these people, you know, not for us, but it's just interesting to see that on average they gained, what was it? It was, I think it said 4. Yeah, they gained in 12 weeks 4 kilograms of body weight, lean body mass is what it was. Lean body mass.
Wow. That's
and
crazy.
lost 2 kilograms of fat.
That is crazy.
So that is because the study was 12 weeks, or was the study longer than 12 weeks?
It went 24 weeks. So at 24 weeks, it's the same.
Stopped.
Yeah, it's a flat line. Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, you should do a 12-week run and then go off of it and then go back on after another period.
That's what it seems like. Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that I also heard. I've heard Phil Viz talk about that before, to do just like a 12-week blast of it and then take some time off and then go back on it to get, you know, that result from it. But I wonder if that has something to do with it, that study that's in the pamphlet.
Well, I mean,
you know?
yeah, it sounds like this is the mystery, the secret of bodybuilding is to read the drug pamphlet.
Read the damn pamphlet.
Follow the instructions.
Well, yeah, it's funny though, because it like says, dosage and administration. It says, let's see, the starting dose of Serostim should be 0.1 milligrams per kilogram subcutaneously. Then it has a little chart. It says if you're over 121 pounds, you do 6 milligrams subcutaneous daily. So the whole vial, 18 IUs, and that's at 121 pounds. You know, like that's half of me. So it's like, should we do 2 a day? No. But so it says that, and then it says treatment with Serostim at this dose every other day was associated with fewer side effects and resulted in a similar improvement in work output as compared to daily.
Interesting.
Yeah. So because it also has studies in here on work output on like a treadmill and a bike, showing the difference between every other day and every day. And it was very similar as far as work output goes. But yeah, I don't think that applies to like the lean body mass gains and fat loss. So.
The athletic skill level of the test subjects was that they were capable of walking on a treadmill or riding a bike in a stationary position. Their actual performance with weights was not tested because even a leg extension is probably beyond their capabilities.
Probably, yeah. That's a good point too. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. Is all this is on HIV
plus
patients.
Their patients are 121 pounds.
120 pounds.
Just, I remember once I was reading a study and it was like saying, well, they're trained athletes. I'm like, did you look at their starting bench press? And they're like, no. I'm like, their starting bench press was 130 pounds.
Yeah,
it's like that's not a trained athlete. That's like an 11-year-old child.
that brings up something else. Like I've had people message me. They're like, I just did my first cycle and I gained 80 pounds. And, whoa, Ron Burgundy. What's up, dude?
Baxter just ate a whole wheel of cheese.
That'll get me one 18 unit vial system, right?
Well, about half
worth. About half of one. There we go. Thanks, Ron.
Not even a question. It's just giving money.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah. Shit, I forgot what I was saying.
San Diego means whale's vagina.
Oh, yeah. No, I was talking about guys that are like 120 pounds being like, my first cycle, I gained like 80 pounds. And it's like, well, you weren't even close. You went from a completely like nothing state. Like you're not even close to the natty potential, you know?
You use nitrous to get up to 60.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's
0 to 60 was 1 second. It's like, hey, you hit the nitrous to go 1 up to 60.
Yep. Yep.
Well, that's interesting, man. I'm curious now. So it makes me wonder. I mean, I usually run generics. Now I'm wondering if like I should just pin the whole thing and like do every other day.
Well,
that's
that's
I
that's
found
a
that
thought.
too. Is like, why does it have to be Serostim? If the magic isn't the drug, because the drug's still the same molecular length GH
I mean, it's either a
molecule.
191 amino
Yeah, it's
acid or
either
not,
91
right? It's a
amino acid.
binary.
Yeah, so
Why even bother getting the Serostim? Just shoot 18 units, which is basically what another pro I was talking to, who actually, I'm a pro, but I'm not this type of pro. He's like one of the real famous pros. He's like, all my friends are doing 20, so I just started doing 20.
of the generics.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I could just ask him right now if he takes it, we call it at night, but
Yeah, so that, I mean, that's it's definitely something, but because like Skip Hill was talking about, he just started Serostim, and he said he had been on generics forever, and he said his issue with generics was he could only take the dose up so high before the edema all over, that the side effects were just entirely too strong to be able to go up any higher. And he said he's titrating up his Serostim dose. Like he talked about this on the Think Big podcast, but he said he was titrating up his Serostim dose, and he's like, I'm not seeing the same thing that I'm experiencing. Like zero. Like the thing that I was really scared about was, am I going to get like lower extremity edema, like pitting edema in my feet, my ankles, my shins? Because I've had that before a long time ago, but I'm really surprised that I was able to just go straight to 18 IUs, and I don't see any of that. Like my feet, if anything, they look, as dry as ever. Like
so
it's really weird.
With Humatropin, they added in mannitol, which is a diuretic. And I didn't know
yeah.
that until I read the insert. Maybe if you check on that insert when it looks at inactive ingredients, you might see that it's got a diuretic in there. Then we've got a question from Aladdin.
How can you list a diuretic under inactive ingredients?
Because they don't want you to know. It might be listed under other ingredients. But so the answer is, the idea behind GH is that either, I think it's through the IGF-1, it causes satellite cells to migrate to the muscle fiber itself, donate a nucleus, and once a cell has enough nuclei to support two cells, once you got twice the number of nucleuses you need, then you can split, and you have hyperplasia, and it splits into two cells. And that's something that's supposed to occur only with GH as a drug, although in theory, MGF, which is mechanogrowth factor, is a paracrine hormone released by muscle, similar to IGF. And it's actually the same exons and introns. It's just when the introns get cleaved out and only the exons are left, it's a different pattern of the exons. And I know people are probably going to be like, what the fuck is he talking about? And we don't have to actually talk about how we create the mRNA from the DNA, but basically it comes from the same DNA as IGF. It's just a different piece of mRNA created.
So Aladdin, the short story is, yes, your coach is correct. That's what Todd said.
So I can't find the ingredients on the pamphlet. I know they're on the box. I'm pretty sure I've seen them on the box before, but so I'm trying to find.
I'm looking on the Serostim website. I don't.
Because it wouldn't. Why else? Because the number one side effect, and then they've got 12 side effects that all basically mean water retention.
Yeah,
like the downstream symptom of the symptom of water retention. So they added mannitol to be able to control that.
I had one of my clients, previous coach that he was working with, had him running a low dose of hydrochlorothiazide when he was on it.
That makes sense. That's a smart move too, assuming you can titrate it just right, and that it's the exact amount of HCTZ to match the exact amount of G.
I think it was telmisartan with a little bit of hydrochlorothiazide in it is what he was doing.
I've seen that blend. I don't trust blends. I'd want to manage it myself.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I saw an answer that another coach was doing. Just
speaking of telmisartan, I'll be right back.
Oops.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got on here. We got any questions, Colin?
Got a few. Got one here from Thomas Sierra. How does the extreme stretching from DC training or the hard posing after sets from FST7 work?
God, I think it was I mean, I know the Dante stuff very well. Dante trained me for 3 years. It was a long time ago. I mean, I'm not current on his stuff, but I'm trying to remember. There was a study done, I think it was back in the 80s, where they
Gymnasts, right?
It was gymnasts or bird wings, like where they took the birds and actually stretched them, if I recall correctly. But anyway, the idea is with the extreme stretching that it does stimulate new tissue growth. I'll be honest with you, I don't do more. I used to. My joints are so wrecked at this point, like the extreme stretching bothers me. But I feel like you can, and a lot of Dante's stretching is under load. So I feel like if you're getting full range of motion on your lifts, like if you're, so for example, if you're doing a fly to its fullest extension, you're going to get the same result, the same sort of stimulus, I would think. But that's just kind of my thought process on it. But so if you're getting full range of motion, you should get the same thing out of it. And with the FST7, with the hard posing afterwards, I mean, I think part of it's just practicing posing. I do posing between sets. Sometimes Colin sees me at the gym. Everybody looks at me like I'm an idiot, but of course, I don't know. There's tons of people in our gym that
Huberman said that I know like Huberman's not a bodybuilder, but this is technically.
He's pretty smart.
Yeah, he's a pretty smart guy. He said he was loath to find out that the douchey posing people do in between sets is actually useful. And he didn't want to believe it was true, but it was. And that the reason is your ability to grow a muscle is based on your ability to neurologically control that muscle.
Yep.
So the muscles that you can contract at will be your good muscles, and the muscles you can't really feel at all are going to be your weakest muscles.
Yep.
So it's not about the load, the volume, the sets if you don't have a mind-muscle connection. And that posing in between sets enhances your mind-muscle connection.
Well, I see it all the time with guys with back. Like so many people have trouble connecting with the back. When training, I was literally just working with a guy at the gym, and you'll see it on people like where they don't spread their scapula when they are doing rows, and then lo and behold, they can't do a lat spread either. So it's the same type of thing. They haven't figured out how to fully activate that muscle. So I think posing between sets definitely is good practice, and then it also helps you connect with that muscle better when you're training.
So what's funny is I can attest that for a good 25 years, I couldn't connect to my biceps or hamstrings. And then once I was able to connect with the biceps or the hamstrings, I mean, the weight I was using went way down, but I can now feel it every set. And most importantly is the way you're supposed to lift, not people who are training powerlifting. That's almost going backwards, right? Like it's harder to go from powerlifting to bodybuilding than to go from falling out of the sky and have never seen weights to go into bodybuilding, because you have to unlearn all the wrong ways of lifting. Is that you're supposed to just contract the muscle against resistance. You're not supposed to lift the dumbbell. You're supposed to have the dumbbell hanging in your hand and then squeeze the bicep, and then magically the dumbbell just lifts against gravity. But the goal is not to lift the dumbbell. That's a byproduct of contracting the muscle against resistance. So if you can't feel a muscle, you can't contract the muscle against resistance.
Right.
Yeah, that's
you have to lift weights at that point. And when you lift weights, something grows, but it's not going to be what you want it to. And eventually the joints are going to start hurting because you're leveraging the joints and using the joints as part of the equation.
That was my biggest issue for the longest time. Doing bicep curls is just like just moving up in weight, and it's like, oh, I can do it. And it's like, well, not really feeling it until you actually like just focus on just like actually flexing the muscle and just holding weights while you're doing it, like that's
like carrying groceries. If you want to start learning how to feel your biceps, carry groceries with your elbow at a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. If you want to learn how to feel your delts, carry your groceries with your arm out to your side at a 30-degree angle.
Yeah.
For hamstrings, for me, years and years after doing hamstring movements, I finally started to actually like figure out how to use the hamstring more and like the posterior chain more to move that weight. And for me, it was like I was focusing on moving it with, you know, where the machine attached to the back of my leg, you know, and my mind moved from that spot to my butt. And I realized, like, if I just start flexing from my butt downward, it will, yeah.
So like on a lying leg curl,
Yeah, on a lying leg curl,
I'll
for
try to
example.
like raise my knees up as I'm pulling up, and it's just that lights everything up.
Yep, you got it. Yeah, why that took me years, you know? Like,
yeah.
I mean, it does take years to learn how to lift. I mean, that's the same thing with posing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One thing I found was with the lying leg curl, I do it differently now. Is first I start with crunching my abs, trying to pull my knees into the pad as hard as I can. Then I try to fire my lats and pull my elbows into my hips as hard as I can. And then the last thing I try to do is then to just to contract the hamstring. And then that will lift up the lever as much as it will move. Yeah. And then trying to move the lever more would require me to disengage my abs and engage my lower back to then pull it up a little bit higher. And so like, I definitely feel it up closer towards my butt if I bring my knees up off the pad, but I lose more of the sensation from the adductor compartment and from the middle of the hamstring if I bring my knees up. I usually just hold it there in that fully contracted hamstring position. And usually if I do enough reps, it'll start in the middle of the hamstring and then spread outwards to the lateral and the medial aspect of the hamstring, getting the additional heads that are less neurologically attached. Because we're not going to recruit all the same motor end units every single time. And it's not going to be random either. There's just stuff that you prefer. Like for me, my lateral quad does not start getting a pump until everything else has gotten a pump. It's the last thing to get pumped.
Yeah.
That's why I want the sweep sucks.
That's same here. It takes forever for me to like actually feel my quads up high. You know, like I'll feel it all down by the knee and like the teardrop and all that. But like to actually get, you know, the sweep, like feeling that get a pump. Yeah, it's tough for me to get that.
It's usually high rep leg presses after multiple sets of high rep leg presses.
What blows my legs up is the sissy squats.
Oh my God, we've been using sissy squats lately in training. I used to make fun of people that do sissy squats. They are brutal, man.
Yeah,
with like the machine thing, like the thing that you sit in and
the thing you sit in, yeah.
And then we'll hold like a dumbbell or something,
like a 50-pound dumbbell, nothing 50, crazy.
60 pounds.
I have one of those at home. I haven't brought it to the gym yet, but
it's legit. Yeah, we like to do them like just to fill the quads with blood after we do some heavy leg presses or some heavy hack squats.
Yeah, usually on a quad day, we'll do like leg extensions starting off and then hack squats. And then sometimes we'll throw in the sissy squats afterwards, man. It's just,
brutal.
I got that thing during the pandemic so that I could have some sort of way to like legitimately work my legs. So,
man, smart moves. That's an incredibly hard.
Yeah, I was like, how the hell? Because I just had like a bunch of bands and I was like, how am I going to work my legs effectively? And picked up one of those sissy squat machines. And now
I bought so much
up against the wall behind my couch now.
I spent like 10 grand on gym equipment going into the pandemic, man, and it's all just sitting there unused now.
Yeah.
My friends like are just like, you know, I was talking to one of my friends and she was saying that she was trying to sell equipment and like it's like none of it's worth anything right now.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got an electrician here at my house. I got to step out for a second.
He's
doing some work. So it's on you guys to handle it from here.
No pressure. No pressure.
I did see your question, Bobby. I didn't. Not sure I understood what exactly you were asking.
I'm trying to
maybe you can figure out what he's talking about.
To reach organs.
That's the part that threw me.
On 1 test per week, only with 20 million of Cialis, my prior cycle.
Well, you got to get a longer needle so you can get into the abdomen. and hit the organs and then inject it and then the organs. He says orgasm is what he meant.
That happens to me when I'm on antidepressants. I don't know. No, yeah, Bobby, if you can clarify. Okay, yeah,
He says,
no,
he says I can't nut.
He was being serious. Okay, all right. Huh?
Wait, what are you on?
He's on. He's cruising on 175 milligrams of test a week with 20 milligrams of Cialis, and the Masteron's what you're missing, Cialis? Man.
Okay, so I think I know what's going on.
Yeah,
you were able to have orgasms in a reasonable amount of time on a large cycle to the right, and now you're on HRT dose.
Oh, I see.
And you're not able to reach orgasm. So you became used to a superhuman level of sex hormone, and now you have a normal human's level of sex hormone.
Mere mortal now.
So, like, if Superman was around red kryptonite, he would feel weak, even if he was still the strongest man on the earth, because he used to be able to jump over a tall mountain, and now he can jump over a smart car. Mm-hmm. So, like, you pound away for 20, 30 minutes and then you come, and you think that's a long time, but there's dudes who have to pound away for 45 minutes to an hour. The girls might even have to tag in a new girl. That's probably why David Bilzerian had 50 girls, is it takes him so long to come that he would have them have to line up and do a reverse gangbang, because there's no other explanation for why you need 50 fucking girls.
My other thought is, have you gotten blood work lately? Like, I would wonder if prolactin might be a little off. that's my maybe prolactin might be high.
I would think prolactin would cause impotence, not sexual dysfunction, right?
Well, doesn't it? Well, let's see.
If your dick's not hard, you're not going to come. But
that's true. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I wonder if Well, he says he's taking forever.
As usual, we need more details, and they only get 100 characters.
Yeah.
But I would just say that my suggestion would be maybe switch from Cialis to Viagra. Do 50 milligrams of Viagra before you have sex, or just go up to 210 milligrams to test, or 250. You probably don't need a full cycle, but that's a pretty low dose to drop from a gram of a gram of steroids down to
170.
What is that? It's more than a 6, but it's less than a 5th. So 2/11. We'll go with that.
I was wondering, is he taking 20 milligrams of Cialis? Is that daily, or is that just like before sex, or what's with that dose? What are you doing there?
I guess he's saying he takes it daily.
I feel like that's a big daily dose.
Yeah, the way it reads,
I feel like most guys do 5 to 10,
maybe weekly.
5's for to me,
no,
if I was
daily.
taking 20 milligrams of Cialis, I'd have such a headache and such a stuffy nose. I couldn't have sex, and I wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't want to. You can't breathe.
I'd be like, you couldn't eat pussy. That's for sure on that one. Cialis.
He says daily. Yeah,
suffocate. It'd be like doing it in a hot tub.
Yeah, he doing it. I would. Like I take 10 milligrams Cialis daily, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But
I just used the P word. Damn it. I just used the D word. Darn it. I'm not trying to get Paul banned, I promise. I just don't know how to behave like a responsible adult.
So I found the ingredients of Serostim, and it says a 6 milligram vial contains 6 milligrams of somatropin, 41 milligrams of sucrose, and 1.4 milligrams of phosphoric acid. And that's it.
So there's no
mannitol.
They just put sugar in there to make sure the bacteria grow.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, okay. Huh. Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
And how much phosphoric acid?
1.4 milligrams.
Wow.
What? I don't know. What is phosphoric acid?
Well, that would bring the pH way the fuck down. Okay, so like normally you reconstitute IGF-1 with acetic acid in a 0.6% solution.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to help cook it, like otherwise it sticks to the glass. And then the acid's supposed to help clean the glass. So you get, otherwise, if you use normal reconstitution solution, you get 90%, not 100% of the amount listed on the bottle, because 10% of it coats the inside of the glass. Mm-hmm. But this is not 0.6%. I mean, we're talking out of a total of 8, we're like 1.4. It's like 1/4. So like, it's like 20% of the total solution, of the 20% of the solute, at least, is the acid. And phosphoric acid is a strong acid. It's what they, I mean, so it makes the pH super low, way lower than in the IGF-1 acid, because the pH of acetic acid is about 6, and I think the pH of phosphoric acid is like 2. So that is going to be a way more acidic solution. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's because this whole time GH has been sticking to the containers.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would add sugar either. The sugar. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's what, like a gram of sucrose? Or less?
41 milligrams.
Oh, so it's almost nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
Let's take a look here. We got one of Paul's guys, Ty Gergich, having trouble falling asleep on Tren.
Just finished 1 week at 175 milligrams, and the only issue I really had is it felt like I took an Adderall and then tried to close my eyes
to go to sleep.
Well, that's to me, that's a lot of Tren to start on the first week, because it's the change in dose is what you're going to detect. So I personally tried 10 milligrams at increments, like 10 milligrams per day. So it goes 70, 140, 210. And even that was a huge jump for me. So that this cut, I think in a couple of weeks, I'm going to start doing 5 milligrams a day of Tren, and then jumping 5 milligrams a week, assuming I can tolerate it. What's your thoughts on that, Paul?
I've been starting guys off at 10 milligrams a day. I have them dose it in the morning and then move it up to 20.
That might be something else. Like, what time is he pinning all that?
Because Tren's so psychoactive. If I take it, I start to feel it in 1 hour. So I'd usually take it right before the gym.
Yeah.
I do all mine in the morning. All my
I take it before the gym. It also probably explains why I have to like battle against road rage on my way to the gym. These motherfuckers getting in my way.
I have noticed that the morning dosing, I've been doing that with my clients, seems to help. And then daily, I used to do every other day. Definitely, we can always go to my favorite, the steroid plotter, but you can see the dosing schedules on it, like the peaks and dips you get. And the daily dosing seems to alleviate a lot of the side effects.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny. People are so resistant to daily dosing. And it's just like, I don't understand if it's out of laziness or what, but to me, it's easier to remember to do something every day than it is to remember to do it every other day.
Yeah, I get a lot of guys that complain about the scar, scar tissue and just the injection site soreness. And my solution for that lately is I just been pinning with insulin needles.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't use a normal harpoon every day.
Yeah.
You got to use an insulin needle every day.
Yeah.
I've been using the 25 gauge 5/8 1 cc insulin needles. What I've been using.
That's a big gauge. I stick to 30.
Yeah, I can't draw the oil with the 30. That's the problem.
You can. You just aren't patient enough. You gotta, just sit down while you're watching your show and draw. Like, you just don't stand there by the sink and watch water boil. Like, just take your time.
Oh man,
you know what you should do instead of buying like Teslas is get a device that we can attach to a syringe so that it can just hold the plunger open and
there's a product idea.
Upside down, the bottle, the needle, the plunger's pulled, and you sit it in there, and then you can walk away. And when you come back, you've got preloaded needles.
Oh God, I was pissed the other day at my expensive ass Bear reamable, and I was pulling the pulling it out, and I had it, and then I flipped it over, and I popped the back end of the plunger out. And I'm like, mother.
Oh yeah.
The worst.
Yeah. No, the other day I was opening a test ampule, and I was like,
Oh
I
yeah.
was like pushing it, and the whole thing
Yeah.
just goes. Boom. It's like,
Explodes.
Fucking ampules.
my
Yeah.
fucking GHNs. Why don't they work? My
like hooks
fingers
for
don't
hands.
work.
Oh man, we got not so much a question, but a comment here, guys. We've lost one. We've lost Kenneth. Kenneth took the time to let us know that we've lost him as a guest. Or we've lost him as a viewer for having Chase Iron on.
Might have been mean.
You
Shoot.
lost me
Mean
with
to that
Chase
guy on my
Irons as a
channel.
guest, period. Dude
Darn it!
did stupid amounts of PEDs, and his advice in his videos are trash. There's no, like,
Man,
there's not anything for us to ask you. Like, there's not a valid complaint for you to retort.
This
You know,
Were you mean to Kenneth, Chase?
I probably was.
I probably was.
He probably got banned. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Pour one out for Kenneth, y'all, because we lost him.
Speaking of useless, I finally broke down and watched the Nelk Boys because they have
What
such
the
amazing.
What?
That there's this. So C-Bum was on Nelk Boys, and I was like,
I have
okay,
no
so
idea what this is.
C-Bum is now on mainstream. It's called Full Send Podcast.
Oh, I've heard of.
Oh,
And
I've heard
I
of
watched it, and these are two of the stupidest people on the planet. It's like, you know, when like Romo Tomasi will like interview a woman, and she'll think that the average man is 6'2" and makes $300,000 a year, and she's not asking too much. And then he'll like do the cat litter calculator, and it'll show that that's actually 0.00001% of the male population fits her minimum standards for a man, and that's why she's single, is because her standards are way too high, even for probability, even if she was a 10. Well, these guys are that level of stupid in the male equivalent. I didn't know men got this stupid because I've watched a bunch of episodes. I watched an episode where they talked to Donald Trump. They talked to Abella Danger. They talked to Elon Musk. Somehow these two idiots get like the most famous people on the planet. And I think it's just that they have so many people watching them because of how interesting the guests are. But these are the stupidest people alive.
I think sometimes if you just have the balls to ask people, they'll come on.
No, it's so funny listening to them talk. They're like, wow, man, the brain's like crazy, you know? Like, that's one of their more articulate sentences.
I mean, you they're appealing to a wide swath of humanity, Todd.
Right. That I didn't know that people that dumb were still able to operate their computers and watch. It was like the dumbest Valley girls were in male bodies.
Think about all the people that Sacha Baron Cohen has duped into interviews as Borat.
Oh, but that's because they didn't know who he was, man.
Oh, really? I just wanted to put this up here, dude. We talked about Nick and BS getting canceled at the beginning, so once this is over, you can rewind and see it. It's up there.
Yeah, I don't know how or why, and I guess people's point is in other sports, there's people like Nick. I'm like, okay, there might be antagonistic journalists in other sports, but get the facts right. Don't just make up complete nonsense.
Yeah.
And then dox people by showing their personal conversations on Instagram, like waging a campaign trying to drive Martin and Branch apart when they didn't know that they had any beef.
There's a difference between reporting controversy and defaming people. There's a very, very big difference in just making stuff up. Do we want to be brave and actually bring anybody on here live today? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure. I think it's fun, man. I was wondering if we were doing that today or not.
Yeah,
we're gonna get Kenneth on. He's gonna be like, "Fuck you."
all right, guys. I got to set some rules on this, though. If you're gonna come on, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes tops. You can't ramble on. 5 minutes and no illegal activity. We had some patients in the waiting room the last time that were doing some naughty stuff we couldn't bring on the air.
They're shooting up smack and nodding out in the waiting room.
You got to be on good behavior if you want
It's
to come
like
on.
a Motley Crue green room. There's just like a punch bowl full of cocaine that they're just snorting with pixie sticks.
You see,
I
you
will-
look at the weight room, it's just pictures of dicks.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to put the link. I'm going to put the link in the chat. So be nice,
man.
people. All right, so anybody who wants to come on. KN just gave us.
They actually asked to see Bum. It's like, should you like eat your diet every day? You don't have a cheat day. Like, fucking had never met anyone their entire life who lifted weights. Kenneth should play in traffic. Chase. Who's Kenneth?
The guy
we lost.
I already forgot about him. He was so memorable.
Blue collar bodybuilding. Come on, Dave. Come on. You can come on. You got the link.
Chase, let's unpack that though. Like, why does he say that you advise stupid amounts of PEDs? What is your typical off-season protocol that you think that he's talking about? What demographic do you appeal to? Like, what are we talking about here?
He's probably referring to things that I've done like 10 years ago. Like, I've done really stupid doses of like Trembolone, for example. Point.
Oh,
you know,
like so 1,400 a week. I did 1,400 a week once.
I did 2,100.
Oh my god!
It was like I said, it was like 10 years ago. I was 200 pounds. It was so stupid. Like,
I mean, do you go around recommending that to every
Tom,
Dick, and Jane? No,
I say I've done like I've done like a whole spectrum of different doses of Tren, and yeah, it's just not worth taking it up.
I found that the benefits seem to drop off dramatically at 50 milligrams a day. And then after 100 milligrams a day, I always felt sick, like I had the flu.
Well, we know this with all things. There's a curve. Like I love to use the alcohol example for people.
Right.
We know that tequila is more powerful than drinking a glass of wine, but once you're drunk, you're drunk, right? It's not like drinking a whole bottle of tequila is going to get you drunker than. There's a saturation point where you hit peak concentration of stuff, and it's just after that, it's just side effects pile up.
That's right.
It's the same thing with
you don't
anabolics.
Get any drunker, but you start experiencing negative side effects like sleeping with women with mustaches and stuff.
Speaking of women with mustaches, have you noticed that women will tell you that they can't get drunk off wine, or that they're less mean when they drink wine than if they drink hard liquor?
No. Well,
I've not experienced that. No.
They like concede that they aren't allowed to drink vodka anymore, but then they want to drink wine instead.
All right, we got a couple.
I haven't experienced that.
I have not.
Parabolic, I see you there, man. I'm gonna. You were on last week. I'll try to see if we can squeeze you in. I'm gonna try.
Yeah,
to
I talk to him every day. I talk to Parabolic every day.
I think everybody has. I'm gonna try to get some people on first that haven't been on, but we'll see if we can squeeze you in. All right, let's. Kyle's here. Let's get Kyle on. What's going on, Kyle?
Good morning, guys. How are you? Just got back from the gym. Got my morning workout in.
What was today? What'd you hit today?
Chest and biceps. I'm on a 4-day split. I really like it.
Cool,
Chest
man.
and biceps. That's a different split. That's kind
of
I hear Nick Walker doing that all the time.
I found I went online. I typed in 4-day splits, all the different options, and this one stood out. So I'm giving it a whirl. I want to talk about today, since you guys are coaches, what makes a good client for a coach? Can you talk about that maybe?
For me, from my perspective, is just people being compliant and telling me the truth.
Yeah,
the biggest thing, man.
The truth. Yeah, telling the truth. If you fall off the plan, like you gotta let them know. Otherwise, they don't know how to make an adjustment, or they're going to assume that they need to make an adjustment. Like if you lie and say, I followed the plan, but you actually ate too much and then your weight stayed the same, your coach is going to be like, okay, well, let's make an adjustment here, when
it'll be an incorrect adjustment then.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing, is just be honest.
Data is what I use to make assessments on it. If the data is incorrect, I can't make a proper assessment to help you progress. So I think people get scared to let you know if they cheated or if they deviated from the diet. I just, I what I do with my check-ins, I'll have people just tell me percentage of compliance. If they were 90%, let me know, or if they had an extra cheat meal, just let me know. Otherwise, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I can look at the pictures and pretty much tell. If I've got somebody eating 1,500 calories a day and they're gaining weight, I know the math doesn't add up.
Right. Yeah.
There's some Casey masterpiece going on there.
What about you, Todd?
I have just lower standards than that.
We're not talking about women, Todd. We're talking about coaching.
So many aspects of life. It's just like, I guess, if the client checks in at all ever, then I'm happy. Like,
do you get those?
I'm not going to
people
hunt you down. You're supposed to be an adult. You want to be treated like we're an adult. Have like as much responsibility as an 8-year-old.
I do get some people that sign up. I give them the program and I never hear them from them again.
I would
say,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, it's like
like the guy who buys the gym membership and never goes.
Yeah.
So to me, an ideal client is a client that actually tries at all. I expect people to lie. I expect people to be fuck ups. I expect people to do nothing right. I expect people to be annoying. I expect people to ask the same question over and over again. I expect people to do everything that every client could possibly do. But what's the most disappointing thing of all is that when they don't show up at all, they don't check in, and then they complain that the coaching program wasn't good when they didn't even try, even 1%. So a client that tries is an ideal client, even 1%.
I do get some really impatient people sometimes. Like I'll get these people that it's been 3 weeks, bro. I don't see any results. I'm like, well, no shit, man. It's only been 3 weeks, dude.
Oh yeah. That's the other thing is people expecting changes with the plan every single week. And it's like, you don't need to change your lifting routine every single week or even the diet or whatever. But
I've heard some coaches just making little changes that are really meaningless just for the sake of having their client feel like something's been done.
Nice.
Well, that's why
I know none of you guys would ever do that. But
that's why I don't do the monthly thing, is because they're like, why would I keep paying you if in 3 months you haven't changed anything? And it's like, okay, so I only do years.
There you go.
And then after a year, they will see progress because you can show them before and after. If they're recalcitrant, they're like, I didn't see any brains. It's like you can show them this is what you used to look like. They're like, oh my God, that's not me. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's like, I was never that fat. I was like, you were on this day, and that's what you sent as a picture. So it's like, that's the change. And they're like, well, you didn't change anything all year. Will you change something if I sign up for another year? I'm like, do you want to stop making progress? Because what we're doing is working. So if we want it to stop working, we can change it.
Yeah, the people that get impatient drive me nuts. I'm just like, I've had another thing. I've had a few people I've had to fire. I've had clients I've had to fire that just are like messaging me every fucking 15 minutes, man, with like, just like, I guess just some people are neurotic and freak out about everything. I'm like, dude, I can't work with you. You gotta go, man. This is not working. Or I've had some people get hostile with me too. Like I thought there was going to be more to this than that. I'm like, man, it's like 75% diet. There isn't some secret cycle. I mean,
they come in expecting magic beans. There's no magic beans.
But I will tell you this: the people that are successful, the clients that I see that are successful, are the ones that stick to the plan. They do the work. They give me good feedback. They let me know. Like I do count on people for good feedback. If something's not working, let me know. We'll make adjustments. It's not a one-way street. But I do. The people that work, that stay patient, get results every time.
Well, you see, I mean, the before and after pictures that you post, Paul, of your clients, like it's clear to me. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. It works if they work it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
impressive progress.
It's just diet, really. At the end of the day, most of it, or in lots of Tren, right?
lots of growth hormone, lots of Tren,
a lot of D-ball.
2,000 tests, and that'll do it. And
according to certain people on the internet, it's 3 grams of Tren. That's why my clients are successful. I won't name names. But anyway,
Were any of you guys like ever like one-on-one, like in-person personal trainers?
yeah, I did that all through college.
Oh, yeah.
I worked at a I'm dating myself. I worked at a Nautilus Fitness Center when they were still around.
Oh,
And
nice.
long ago.
I will tell you this,
Full
Chase,
times.
I never got laid so much in my life.
I mean,
It was the best job. I was in college, man, and these, at the time I thought they were old ladies, but these 35 to 40-year-old women who were very lonely at home come in for a personal training session, and one thing leads to another.
yeah.
All right, Kyle, I appreciate you coming on, man. We're gonna get some.
Thank you guys for having me. You have a good weekend.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Thank you
Thanks,
support, Kyle. Let's see here. Oh, we got Cuban Sis. I got to get Dan on just for his name.
Cubensis.
Cuban cyst, like CIS.
No, like like the psychoactive ingredient in magic mushrooms.
Oh, okay. I got this completely wrong.
I thought it was Cuban cyst, like he's not trans and he's from Cuba.
Cuba sis.
On the mark as always, Todd.
I'm
Yes,
completely
nailed
off here, Dan. I slaughtered it. We see you every week. What's up, dude?
Yeah,
What's
how's
up,
it
man?
going, guys?
How you doing?
Good.
How are you? I'm meal prepping right now.
That's what's up.
What are you making?
Just a lot of chicken breast.
A lot of chicken breast, man.
My man,
Yeah.
that's the way to do it.
Your chicken breasts look way better than mine.
I know. I think it's kind of a flex. I see your updates. I don't know how you get it to look that way, but
It's called I'm lazy, man.
I mean, yeah, I just throw mine in the air fryer and I don't season it or anything. I season it after, like when I'm ready to cook it. But
right.
I do.
That's what I do. No seasoning, and then this way I can mix it up. I cook a lot, and I'll add a little seasoning later when it's ready to eat.
Yeah.
Mostly, I wanted to thank you guys because I find every week all the information super helpful, helps keep me on track. I guess if I were going to ask something specific, I'm going to be traveling internationally, and I'd like to keep my diet in check. And if you guys have any tips for me, I was thinking about bringing a scale with me. I don't know if that's a little ridiculous, but I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, and I'm going to be places.
In a hotel? Are you staying in hotels or?
I'm going to be staying with family.
Okay, so you have access to a kitchen.
Yeah. But they want to feed me good food and get me off my plan, and I already know.
Yeah, that sucks.
Good luck.
I mean, I don't know what your guys' take is. I mean, when with my clients, if they're going on a trip, I just tell them to enjoy themselves. It's only a week or 2 weeks out of the whole damn year, unless you're on contest prep. Don't go ape shit by any means, but if you want to have a good meal here and there, you have a good meal. Usually what I'll tell them is just
stay away from
I don't know, bringing your scale with you on vacation is probably a little ridiculous if you're just unless you're an IFBB pro or something. But I just tell people, if you have a selection of things to choose from, pick the one that's the least damaging. If you got pizza in front of you, or if you got an option to eat a steak instead. But still enjoy yourself. Steaks are still delicious, right?
What country are you going to?
I'm going to be going to Israel and Egypt.
Oh, nice.
Oh man, you're gonna have some good food available. You got to enjoy yourself a little bit.
Going to be a lot of fried, delicious food.
What part of Israel? Tel Aviv?
Yeah, all over. A few parts. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, are you going to be able to like train and stuff? Is that going to be?
I have one of my cousins actually competes out there, so when I'm with him, so he was men's physique, now he's classic, and he's legit. When I stay with him, I'm sure we'll just be really on track, but that's probably only 3 days out of 2 weeks. But for me, being on vacation, being able to go to a gym and being able to eat on plan, that I enjoy that. Like, I don't like to deviate too much. It throws me
stressful.
Yeah, I work a lot off momentum, so I find if I deviate too much, it really throws me off.
Yeah, me too. Brian's telling me it's ridiculous. It's not that ridiculous to bring your scale on vacation. I will tell you, I have brought my scale on vacation before. I'm not that anal anymore. I have done it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be it'll be tough if they're trying to like choose what you're eating,
Right.
But yeah, I like when I go on vacation, I plan on just being off of everything and enjoying it. So I don't really have.
Well, if it's going to be a source
best
of stress, not relaxation, to be imprecise, then I would be like, I guess if let's say you're staying at your aunt's house and your aunt makes dinner, you can weigh the food to make sure you're having at least enough protein.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to, because you don't know what goes in the side dishes, but chicken's chicken. So if like you're like, okay, I've got 8 ounces of chicken here, it's more than 6, I'm good. Or like I'm only having 3 meals today, so I got to get like 12 ounces of meat every meal to make up 6 times 6. I have to go 3 times 12. I think that's a very reasonable thing to do, because eyeballing someone else's chicken would be hard to do. When it comes to the side dishes, there's no way to really accurately assess that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a good strategy, is focusing on protein over everything, and
I
usually fill up on that.
That's exactly what I do. I just eat meat and vegetables usually, and then skip the fried carbs and things like that.
Yeah.
Ty has a scale in his car.
Protein, and then you make sure you're like, all right, I've had, let's say, an extra 150% my normal protein intake for the day. I'm good. Like I don't, even if I was eating nothing but protein, if I'm eating like 2,000 calories worth of pure protein, I'm fucking good, because I know I'm getting incidental fat and incidental carbs just from the seasoning and the way that the food's prepared.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, it's a vacation. If you feel like having more on top of that, that's good. But if it was me, I'd be laying awake at night wondering how much muscle am I losing from not getting enough protein. Even if the calories were high, my actual protein intake might be low, and that's unacceptable to me.
Well, if you take enough Serostim, you don't have to worry about that, Todd.
I don't know if he wants to fly internationally.
He's got to fly that.
Well, I guess on that topic, flying, I mean, I'm planning on bringing in my luggage.
Oh, man, you're brave.
Some stuff with me. I mean, I'm not a lot. Just,
I upset everybody last time when I said you could get whatever you wanted in Greece. They told me that was not true, but I think that is the case in Israel and Egypt, right?
Well, I think it is in Egypt, right?
I don't know.
Or you could order it from Turkey to Israel or Egypt. I don't know what the laws are, but it might be easier to have something shipped from Turkey over than it would be for you to bring it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to take anything, like 2 weeks, like I would probably just take like testosterone and pack it in the checked luggage. And
that's kind of what I'm doing. I mean,
I've done that to Italy, and didn't have any problems with it. But
oh, it'd be my luck. I'd get thrown in some foreign prison.
Well, there's also the unducanoate. Like you could take something like test unducanoate, something that's got 11 or 12 carbons in the ester, so it's got like a 2-3 week half-life, and just blast a couple grams before, well, depending on what your dose is, but like if you're usually a 1 gram a week guy, you just take 3 or 4 grams before you leave, and then it's gonna be a huge spike right away. You're gonna be all over the beaches of Tel Aviv, I guess, but I mean, you won't have crashed while you're on the trip.
That's an idea too. I've maybe 2 weeks to figure that out. But.
Well, yeah, I would think quick, because you got to be able to order it and have it arrive to you, or if you're ordering from Turkey or whatever, then have it mailed to the place you're going. Okay. There might even be a way to set it up. Like, for instance, let's say if I was going domestic, and I'm not saying this is domestic, but let's say I don't know where I'm going to be staying in San Francisco. I'm going to go to USPS and mail it to the post office and go pick it up. That's a little dicey. What I could do is just go to UPS and mail it to the UPS store. And then I can go pick it up from that branch of the UPS store.
Wasn't that how Bumstead got busted?
No, I thought that was because
I thought they ordered from Canada to Florida.
Melissa went
that's
to
right.
her house, and then they delivered it to her house.
Which is crazy.
So, and they put Melissa's name on it so she would get in trouble and not them.
I don't know. On that topic, I don't even know why. Like, they're in Florida. Like,
why did they
you don't know anebody. You don't have a connection somewhere. Like, you're going to order Florida. From Canada. Like, you're in Florida. Like,
if you can't find drugs in Florida, I don't know what to tell you.
I'm pretty confident it was what they still had at their house.
Maybe that's what it was.
That they had so much of a stockpile at home.
Maybe.
They didn't want to waste it, so they just mailed it to
But
themselves.
still, it's like, I mean, how much money are you saving doing that? You know, with the
didn't
money that
seem-
Bumstead has, it's like, why? Who cares?
Didn't seem like a smart strategy to me.
Really not criminal masterminds.
All right, Dan, appreciate you coming on, buddy. Thank you
you,
for your
guys.
support.
See ya.
All right. Thanks.
All right, Parabolic, you're up next, man. Are you ready? Let's get him on here.
Hey.
What's up, dude?
Nice
Hey,
angle.
can you hear me now? I have some-
Yeah. Sorry to make you wait, man. I want to be fair and get the people that haven't been on first.
No, you didn't make me wait or anything. My Wi-Fi, something went on for a minute. So
what's going on, man?
nothing. I figured I was going to talk about something else this time, but
No
have you
SHBG
mentioned-
today.
no, I mean, we can talk about it. I'm not opposed, but do I have it right? You play guitar or?
Yeah,
play
I
in a
do.
band?
I actually have a music degree, if you can believe that or not.
That's
Oh
cool.
yeah, that's right. You said that. No, I play music myself too, so that's what I was going to ask. Todd, I could see you as being a guy who plays too. Do you?
Yeah, I started like when I was 16, but I haven't played it much in the past 10
No.
years.
Yeah.
My GH hands don't allow me to play guitar that
It
much
is
anymore.
weird, like with the finger dexterity just isn't there. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I don't play
Chase? Are
guitar.
you,
I don't do anything with strings.
you play
You play
playing
drums?
Spanish guitar with your GH hands, Chase?
So I actually did play guitar. I started playing guitar in college because I didn't want to spend all my time playing video games. So it's like, I need to learn something a little more.
That's like
Productive,
also
you
why I learned. I found myself watching a lot of Star Trek and playing a lot of video games and not interacting with a lot of vaginas. I
Guitar
also,
will do
there's
a
my
better
guitar
job.
there in the background.
Yeah. I haven't played mine in a while. Though,
Yeah,
so.
same. I gotta
Yeah.
pick it back. I've been thinking that for months. Like, oh, I should pick it up. I should pick it up.
I got like 10 guitars. I got too many of them. You can never have enough guitars.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're pretty cool. Yeah.
I
That's
haven't
the
been
one
playing
thing I
much
don't
lately.
play. Yeah,
What
it's
do
like
you
the one
play,
thing
drums?
I don't. I can play drums. I have an electric kit, but I like to like mess around. You can put like weird sounds to it, so it doesn't even have to sound like a drum kit. You can just use it as a controller, keyboards and synthesizers and all that. But I started playing trumpet like when I was like 4, so that's what started. But I don't play trumpet anymore. You need to that's like a muscle. Like you got to have the embouchure, they call it, and I can play for like 2 minutes before my lips just like crap out. So it's I can't do.
I was actually a tuba major in college.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's what a nerd I am.
Tuba, personal
Yeah.
space.
Tuba
Team
major,
brass.
man.
Yeah.
I had my alter ego at the gym where I was the trainer. That I got laid at the gym, not at college.
Oh, okay.
Want to come watch me play the tuba?
Playing box sonatas on a tuba is not very attractive. It might come as a shock to you.
Serenade them with the tuba.
Oh God, I posted a
with that at
picture
the
of me
bar.
when I was in high school up on Instagram. That got a lot of laughs, man. Did you guys see that?
I think I
didn't see that one.
You had a lot of hair.
Yeah, I had. Oh my God,
He looks like he's going to be featured on the last season of Stranger Things.
Oh, it's so bad. I'll show you.
You
My
look, like
mom.
you look kind of like Brendan Fraser.
My girlfriend, when my mom showed this to her, she screamed and cackled. Here we go.
Yes.
Oh my God, man.
I remember when
I just cut all my hair off too.
1988,
I don't know
was
if
it
you guys
88?
saw it. I used to have long
88.
hair.
Yep.
that looks
I
like
used to have
88.
long hair like that too.
Every school picture had those fucking neon lights in the background in 88.
I'm so envious, man. My mom would never let me get the laser background. It was standard traditional blue. I wanted the laser so bad.
You'll
I
be
couldn't swing it.
shocked. You'll be shocked to know I was not getting laid then.
Are those the heady days of chess club and Dungeons
That was
and Dragons,
chess
Paul?
club and D&D, man, and
Yeah.
tuba playing.
Yeah.
I've come a long way since then. All
I
right, Parabolic. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Yep, sure thing. Good talking to you guys. See ya.
All right,
man.
see you,
Take care,
buddy.
bud.
Everybody's calmer today.
yeah. We have a calm recruit today. Oh, here's Dave. Let's get Dave on. What's up, Dave?
What's up, bud?
fellas? How you doing?
What's up, man?
Man? How you doing?
Good. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Are you in a tractor?
I'm in a tractor making dirt.
Nice.
I'm literally making dirt. You see that?
Living up to your username, man.
The blue
Very
collar,
nice.
really blue collar bodybuilding.
Blue collar, yeah. Hey, you sound better. Did you get the mic cut?
I took the windscreen off. That was what was causing the issue, man.
Nice. I was telling him he needs to get that thing circumcised. It was muffled.
I told you it sounded better.
I already have a mush mouth to begin with, so I guess it doesn't help things.
What's a mush mouth?
I don't know. I mumble.
No,
He doesn't enunciate.
I don't enunciate.
I always tell people it's just because I'm talking too fast. You're hearing too slow.
I've really tried to improve my speech pattern since I've been on YouTube. I've gone back and listened to some of my original videos from last year. I'm like, oh my god, they're so bad.
That was the hardest thing for me, was like to speed up my talking, because I was just like such a slow, like spaced out talk, and I would either leave it, or you just have tons of jump cuts in my videos. It was like, this is bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did a ton of jump cuts. I do a lot of ums and ums, and it's just my brain is hiccups, I guess, when I talk. But
Dave,
Chase,
you're
you
looking
sound like you
massive
can do the
lately,
moves.
dude.
What's that?
You're looking massive lately.
oh
man.
yeah, Dave's getting big.
Yeah, I still haven't cracked 240, but it's getting. I'm improving weekly though, even with the weight not going up. We kind of, a little extra cardio's helped, and just tightening up the diet.
No, you've
good.
recomped a bit lately. We tightened the diet up a little bit and pushed the cardio. You were getting a little loose there for a while.
Yeah, I was getting a little back fat, but
Oh yeah,
what it is.
now it's me, man. I haven't been 100% with my diet, and I'm not in the gym as much as I should be.
dude, I'll be perfect on my diet, and then like in the middle of the night, I'll just eat like 5 rice cakes and a bunch of jam. Like, I'll literally wake up with it on my face, going, "What the hell did I do?"
Yeah, I've been there, man. If I have if I eat like a weed gummy too late in the evening, I'll wake up at like 3 a.m. I'm not even myself. It's like fucking Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like it's just the monster, and he's the monster seeking out carbs. Yeah, the Grayling Gremlin comes out, and it's just like, where are the carbs?
Yeah, that was actually what I was gonna ask you guys about. Figured a different thing to ask about is, what do you guys think about THC in bodybuilding? I know I sent Paul probably 3 or 4 pictures of massive joints in the back of smoke.
Well, Colton's not here, so we can. No.
I know Jackie and I will send him one, and then just send goofy pictures later. But I don't know. It helps me sleep, but I know when I do edibles, it definitely makes me, eat everything in the house. But smoking, it just definitely helps me sleep. I mean,
dude, you gotta.
Really have improved.
I'm the opposite. Smoking, I lose my shit. I cannot control myself diet wise at all. I'm better on edibles with that for some reason.
Too.
I'm actually going to the National Cannabis Festival in DC after this.
Hopefully your mom's not listening to this, Colin.
Sorry, Mom.
Oh my god,
it's legal there. I'm going it as an observer. I'm not going to partake.
that reminds me. So we send our dog to daycare 2 times a week, and one of the days was 420, and our daycare was like, "Hey, can we use him as like a like an advertisement for us?" And we were like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "Can we dress him up for 420 and take pictures of him?" And they're like, "I don't care, sure." So we get these pictures.
That's awesome.
I was like, "How did you get him to sit like that?" Like,
That's
what
phenomenal.
the heck?
Oh, that's a cute dog, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it was pretty funny. But
That's awesome.
here's another one.
That's fantastic.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah, I'm on.
The dogo.
So funny.
Colin, do you smoke before you lift ever?
Not recently. I've been edibles only for like a year. I used to. Paul can attest.
Well, the question is when is Colin not high?
I wouldn't be able to function at all.
I really like getting in the groove. Like I try not to lift angry. When I lift angry, I tend to tear things. So like I sort of naturally tend towards angry, and THC helps keep me more even keeled. And I like to like get in like a real groove when I'm lifting, like, and that it just sort of helps with that. But then Paul can attest to in the past, maybe I overdid it once or twice, and he'd have to be like reminding me when it's my turn to lift, or
he forgets he forgets it's push day halfway through the workout. What workout is this? Is this back again?
So I had a client for a while, one-on-one in person, before I stopped doing that, who he would always get so high before he came into the gym, and he'd walk in and I could just see it on, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And we'd go upstairs, and he'd get on the bench press, and like so I'd kind of like test it out and be like, okay, how long is he going to go? So like we put super lightweight on to warm up, and he just starts repping it. He's not even paying attention. I'm like, I'm not counting out loud. I'm just counting in my head. I'm like, we're getting up to like 30 or something. And he goes, is that enough? And I was like, yeah, man, put it up. And then he gets up and he goes and walks around. And so I'm just like watching and seeing like, what's he doing? He comes back 5 minutes later and he's like, all right, what's next? I was just like, dude, what is going on? He's like, yeah, I smoked a little too much before I came in here. And it's like, no shit. Like, we're getting nothing done today. Like, what are you doing?
Dave, you should for sleep. You should try the CBN gummies, man. I got Chase'll knows, man. Those things knock you out.
So, yeah. So that's I since Paul talked me into it, I've been doing the THC CBN gummies.
They're great, aren't they?
It's I'm surprised. Yeah, it knocks me out. Yeah, it's awesome.
Did you say CBD or CBN?
CBN.
Yeah, it's a newer derivative.
I've never even heard of that.
I hadn't either. My brother put me on to them. I don't have trouble falling asleep, but I've heard nothing but good things from people who have trouble.
So what's the premise? Is it helps you sleep but doesn't get you high? Is that the difference between that and
CBN? Is the active? It's not psychoactive. It's the substance in marijuana that makes you sleepy.
Oh, okay. So
they've isolated that portion of it, but you put a little bit of THC in with it to relax you. So I think the ones I get are 5 milligrams of each. 5. Yeah.
Is that something I can just drive to the corner weed store and buy? Because
it's legal there, right? Yeah.
Okay. So like literally, I could get in my car, drive up.
Look for
and they have CBN.
I recommend the brand Select. It's a good brand. Yeah,
easy to remember.
Yeah, it was so fun. After I did a podcast with Paul on my channel, he told me about it, and literally like right after, I just drove over there and was like, "You guys got this?" And sure enough,
that's what's up.
Yeah. These are the ones that I get. Hang on, the Select Snooze. These are the ones I get.
Yeah, those will do the trick.
Oh, I see. 1-to-1's too much for me. I just got 23 years 2 days ago. I'd have to get something that's almost no THC.
See, that won't mess with my sobriety for alcohol. Like THC, a small amount. I just don't look at it the same. Like for me, anyways. I understand it's different from each, but I think Jackie and I actually do like the 5 CBD to 1 ratio for sleep sometimes.
Well, if they have that, if they've got a 5-to-1, I don't.
They have a bunch of different ratios. Yeah.
2 to 1.
They could do like a 5 CBN, 1 THC or something.
All right, then that seems reasonable enough.
I mean,
Todd, you don't even need to do the THC either. Like I'll take just a couple CBD gummies and just sleep better than if I didn't, for sure.
All right, so they might have
doesn't seem to do shit for me though.
Yeah.
I don't get much out of CBD.
Well, if they have a CBN with no THC, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
The
hey, but I'm
CBN
gonna go. I gotta run, but I appreciate you.
All right, dude.
See
you later, man.
All right, later.
See you.
All right, let's get Ty on here.
Does that mean more sleep means more Trent?
Ty's one of my clients. What's up,
Ty? What's up, bud?
I guess I'm not the best guy to join after the whole hair thing, but
We'll work on that hair, man. You'll be bald by the time you're 30.
You'll be bald soon.
I don't know, bro. I'm running stuff that you think it would fall out, but
You either have the genetics.
You look like
or
you're
you don't.
23 though.
I'm only 19, so.
Well, then your
my
hair's
God.
not gonna fall out. For
No, I actually, when I was freaking 15, my hairline started going back randomly. I don't know what it was, but it would just start shedding. I don't know if it was because I guess just how bad my diet was, but
you must have been listening to NPR.
No, but it actually runs in my family pretty bad. I mean, my grandpa went bald at 25, my uncle 20. I mean,
that is young.
Yeah, so
I had a
it definitely
full head of hair
runs in the family.
I had a full head of hair until I hit my 30s, mid 30s. I think is when.
Yeah,
when
that's what I'm feeling is going to happen.
He had
to
that
me.
same
I feel like
haircut
one
too
day
the
it's
whole
gonna
time.
Be there, next day it's going to be gone. So
the mullet.
Yeah,
the
he rocked that feathered mullet for 20, 30 years. Yeah.
Hey, it was working apparently.
The feathered mullet.
But
man.
I guess my first question was going to be that. So I get super aggressive after the Tren shot. I'm not sure what it is. I've never really been experienced, I guess, with an androgen that's that potent. So, I mean, it's night and day when I take the shot versus when I don't take the shot. So I guess I kind of like the time to mellow out before I go in and do my daily activities because I go to school and then I work. And in both of those places, I don't want to be aggressive because I tend to work out at nighttime. So I guess I was going to ask if you guys think it would be more advantageous for me to take it in the morning or to take it pre-workout, even if it's going to be super late at night.
I mean, I do it in the morning, but
I would always do pre-workout because I found that it not only makes you aggressive in the only place it's susceptible, but you use it. It's almost like the aggression gets washed out. As if it gets distributed to the tissues and less gets to your brain. In other words, the bioavailability from the muscles perspective is higher because it gets flushed. Like, let's say, for instance, I'll walk it through. Let's say you're using your quad, not advising quad, but it's just an easy muscle to explain. Mm-hmm. You shoot your quad, you get on the treadmill or the bike or the Stairmaster, you start pumping blood through the quad. Then it's going to pick up the drug, carry it through the capillaries. It's going to go right back to your heart. And then it's going to pump from your heart through your whole body. But the muscles you're training when you're lifting, whether let's say you're doing shoulders, now your shoulders are going to be, they're losing glycogen. So the GLUT4 transporters go up. They want more blood flow. So there's more nitric oxide locally produced in the shoulders. So a higher percentage of blood is going to go to your shoulders than it normally would. So more Tren is going to go to your shoulders than it normally would. So then the muscles absorb the Tren. And now when you go home, there's less Tren just circulating going to your brain because more of it went to those shoulders.
Oh, okay. So
that makes a lot of sense, Todd.
Yeah. I had never really thought about it like that. So
neither did I.
That's definitely something I can try today. But I guess my next question would be, I'm kind of like in a sticky point in my prep. I feel like my body is more kind of shaped towards classic physique, but I'm kind of new to lifting, new as in within the first 2 years. So I feel like my height is 5'9.5". I'm going to be going against guys that can be up to 197 in classic. So I guess there's just going to be such a really wide weight discrepancy to where I don't know if it would be worth me doing like, I guess, middleweight bodybuilding where there's not going to be as much competition, or to do the classic where I might get blown out. Again, it is my first show, so I'm not looking to win. Yeah.
Just do, because you're 176. Why wouldn't you just do both?
Do them all.
Yeah.
Well, like specifically, if you're literally make weight for middleweight and you made weight for classic, do both. I have every single middleweight do both, basically.
The only issue,
more experience too. You know?
The only issue I've seen, and I don't know if you run into this, Todd, I literally saw a guy miss a call out last year because they were running the guy was back there fiddling with changing his shorts from the classic to the bodybuilding, and they had his lineup up, and they were out, and the dude missed his call out.
But let's think this through though. How is it possible that you're middleweight of classic, and then when you walk off stage, it takes you so long to take off the classic shorts and put on the mankini, and then that? How could you make? Because that means that they've done all of light bantam, all of lightweight, all of welterweight, and then they're back to middle, unless the smallest class is middle. And
I
then
think dude was all fucking off. Probably is what.
The other thing you can do is you can wear your bodybuilding trunks under your classic physique trunks.
Yeah,
that's a good.
And then you're just like Superman. You go from Clark Kent to Superman. just drop them, and then take the number off. Drop them. Put the number back on.
For sure, definitely
that's an
sounds
idea.
like a good idea. My posing coach, he recommended that I do both too, but Paul was somebody that was telling me that, it is my first show, so I can see both perspectives of you don't want to do too much, and also I want to take the opportunity to do the most while I'm in the condition I am.
I think people underestimate the value of there's a skill for backstage, there's a skill for day of show, and there's a skill for on stage. So the day of show is limited, but your backstage time will be double. And your on-stage time, if you do true novice, open, true novice, open, you're on stage 6 times. Mm-hmm. So you have 6 different exposures. So in one show, you will get more practice being on stage in front of an audience and judges than a normal guy would have 10 years ago in 6 years. You got 6 years worth of stage time in one day by doing all 3.
You're better than me, man. I wouldn't want to be that stressed out. I'm too anxious.
Well, the thing is like, okay, so Paul's favorite is Miyamoto Musashi, right, Paul?
Yeah, Miyamoto Musashi.
Miyamoto Musashi. And he said the way of the warrior is to accept death. Because if you accept that you're going to die, then you will fight with peace because you have nothing to lose. Right. But if you're trying to stay alive, you're going to be so nervous you're going to fuck up. So every day of the show, I accept defeat. I'm not going to win, but I will do my best. I want to go up there and present my best and pose my best and give the best presentation, the best package possible. And whether I win or lose, it doesn't matter. But if it's going to stress me out to try not to lose, then I'm going to accept defeat in advance. And then once that I have nothing to lose, then there's no nerves holding me back. My only goal is to present the best possible. And if it's not even to the judges, if I want to, I pick one person who's going to show up that I care what they think, and it's all for presenting to that person. And I have them pose, I have them sit in the middle of the audience as close to the head judge as possible. So I'm throwing all my best angles and all my best shots over the head judge's head towards that person. That takes all the pressure off.
Where do you learn all this stuff, Todd? It's just like a never-ending bank that just keps coming through with analogies and just experience.
I'm old as shit.
The 19-year-old asking.
I know. 20 years from now, you'll be right here with us.
The best example is
experience, dude.
Star Wars Episode 9. Rey is playing battle chess with Chewbacca. And she's like, motherfucker, you're good at everything. You're good at flying ships. You're good at chess. How are you this fucking good at everything? He's like, I'm 250 years old.
Well, all right, guys. Thank you for your time. And thank you for always answering the questions.
Thank you, Tom.
And not putting the hammer down on me whenever I ask something stupid. So.
No, you're good. Stupid questions are how you learn.
I hope y'all have a good day.
You too,
easy.
We're gonna get one more on. Austin's waiting for us, and then I gotta wrap up. I got people competing today. I got a bunch of check-ins to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've seen some frantic.
Isn't prejudging over?
I've got people. Sorry, I got somebody competing at the Vancouver Pro tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What's that?
Is it a secret?
No, Andrea Sauer.
Okay.
She's competing tomorrow. Bodybuilder.
Nice.
All right, let's add Austin here. What's up, Austin?
What's up, dude?
Can't hear you, buddy.
There you go. Oh,
there we go. It popped in for a second.
Is that good?
There you go.
Yeah, we can hear you now, man.
Cool. Hey guys, I just had a quick question for you. So I've been running 500 milligrams of testosterone, and I've been getting a lot of bloat. Do you think that could be related to meals per se, or what do you think a solution for that would be?
Is this cycle 1?
Yes. So essentially from TRT into my first cycle of 500 milligrams.
Did you titrate up to this, or did you just jump from?
I did. So I went from around 160 to 200 to 300 up to 500.
Okay, so you jumped from 300 to 500.
Yeah.
Big jump.
And so was 300 a safe dose? Like you didn't have the bloating?
Yeah. I mean, no AI needed.
Okay.
No necessarily bloating that I noticed. But
I would
another
be-
thing is I did lose a lot of weight. So I was around 400 pounds and dropped down to 180.
Mhm.
So I have a lot of loose skin. I don't know if that maybe attributes to me being more acceptable to fluid retention per se, or
I would just cut it back to 60 a day, because 60 a day will come out to being 420. And I think that'll flush it out. I think the problem was there was some perfect level and you jumped it. Like ideally you would have went from 40 a day to 50 a day to 60 a day to 70 a day. And 500 weeks about 70 a day. And you were at 300, which is about 40 a day. So we know that the perfect amount is either 50 a day or 60 a day. And I think finding that perfect amount would be the best thing to do, rather than trying to chase down a symptom with a second drug, because the second drug is going to have its own side effects.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, when they get to their like first actual cycle, they find their sweet spot's going to be between 300 and 400 a week.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why 350 is a popular amount.
Yeah.
But I would, rather than rolling you all the way back to 350, because that'll give us a false negative, because it's such a huge decrease to jump backwards 150. I think if we rolled it back just 80 to 420, which is 60 a day, you'll probably see enough of the bloat go away without any other negative consequences that you'll be content. If we went back in time, I would have rather you went from 40 to 50 a day, and you probably would have found the ideal dose was 350. But for us to jump all the way to 50 a day from 70 a day now, it's going to be such a decrease in gym performance and energy that it's going to actually discourage you.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, and that's pretty much what I was curious about. I just noticed I had a lot of like my weight has been fluctuating. I'll go from like 249, and then the next day I was at like 279, and then back down to 266. Like it's just very weird.
A huge jump.
Yeah.
Huge jumps. Yeah, like my first cycle was 500 tests too, and I was a bloated mess of everywhere. My face got fucking huge. My feet, like everything was just, it was awful. And I feel like I hear that more often than not is people that go straight to the 500 dose for their first cycle, they experience some sort of serious edema.
Yeah. For me personally, if I'm super shredded, I can handle 60 a day. But if I'm off season going into a maintenance phase and I go 60 a day, I'm going to crank out so much estrogen that I'm going to get gyno and bloat like crazy. So the amount I can handle is dependent on how much adipose tissue I have.
Yeah.
But I think so. To me, I think it's insane for anybody to run more than 350 by itself, usually, without having to have some type of DHT in place like Primo or Masteron to help mitigate the estrogen conversion. I don't know anybody that can handle 400 milligrams of just straight test without having either an AI, which I don't suggest, or another anabolic like a DHT to mitigate it. And since we see a huge improvement in performance and growth between 300 and 600 milligrams of total load, to me, the ideal first cycle would probably be like 350 test and 280 of a DHT, or 420 of test and like a 70 of a DHT, or somewhere in between that, so that the two combined come out to being 600.
So you'd recommend like a higher test versus DHT per se?
Normally, yeah, because it'll crush my estrogen if I go the reverse. If I go a 2-to-1 ratio test to DHT, I'm good. If I go 1-to-1, I'm good. If I go 1-to-2, I have a crushed estrogen. But that was when I was super lean. Right now, I have a 1-to-2 because I'm cutting, and I wasn't that lean, and I have no problems.
I'm a super heavy estrogen converter. I found that I have to run my DHT at somewhere between 80 and 90% of my test dose, and that puts me right in line.
So that's pretty close to 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah. So like right now I'm running 875 tests, so it's 125 milligrams a day of tests, and 100 milligrams of Primobolan a day is what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, so you're 875 and 700. I
Yeah.
found that with me, my best results on the health front was 875 and 600. I found that my best results when it came to, I was able to handle 700 and 840 in the other direction, you know, just flipping the ratio, but my blood markers went to shit in the liver.
I see. Okay.
But it didn't show up for about 8 months. That after staying at that level for 8 months, I started seeing actual wear and tear on my liver. Whereas, so that's why I think for first cycle, 50 a day of test and maybe 30 to 40 a day of a Masteron, or 60 a day of test and 10 a day of Masteron, something like that might be the right way to go. Because right now you're at 70, so you're at like, yeah.
I guess it would depend on how heavy of an estrogen converter you are too.
Yeah.
Well, I think if he's came down this much and he's seeing this much water fluctuations, he probably is a high estrogen converter
High
right
estrogen
now.
converter.
And then if we got you down to like, let's say 5% body fat and then change directions and tried to grow you like after a show, you would not be as high of an estrogen converter, since it's the added adipocytes themselves convert testosterone to estrogen. So the more fat you have, the higher estrogen conversion you get.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that since I was so much more heavier in the past, that potentially I would convert more to estrogen now than?
I think you have way more fat cells than everybody else pretty much, but you've depleted those fat cells. So they're small fat cells that are not filled with a lot of fat, but you still have a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So the endocrine functioning of the gland is still there, even if the size of the gland isn't larger. So after some years in this body, your body fat cells will start to die off because they're not filled. Then, in other words, you shrink them enough, they'll start to atrophy. The opposite of hyperplasia, whereas we try to grow the muscle with hypertrophy and it swells and swells and swells, and then it divides and turns into muscle cells. What we want is to shrink these fat cells so much that they combine into one fat cell and then shrink them down.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay.
It's been my experience. I don't know, Todd, if you've seen the same, or Chase, but like guys that tend to be fatter are heavier estrogen converters. The dudes that are skinny are the ones that are the lowest. Like I had a client. I had this client that was super lean, and his estradiol was like 9, running high doses of testosterone by itself. It was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it.
They just don't have the fat cells to have the estrogen, the aromatase to convert the test into estrogen.
Yeah. So I speculate, like I really hate D-ball because D-ball for me is just instant titties. But like the guys that seem to respond well to D-ball, the dudes that are super lean. At least that's what I've seen.
Well, the irony is this too, is like if you have very little aromatase, then the outlet for the testosterone is the 5-alpha reductase. So the less aromatase you have, the more 5-alpha reductase conversion, which means the more DHT, and then the DHT is going to be a competitive inhibitor to the aromatase you do have.
Right.
So it's a synergistic change in direction.
Okay.
There's going to be some point where the DHT is so high that you just can't convert. Likewise, in the opposite direction, once the adipocytes get so high that you've got a ton of aromatase, you're converting so much to estrogen that there's almost no flowing, if you will, of the testosterone through the aromatase, the 5-alpha reductase pathway into DHT. So then there's decreased inhibition on the aromatase. That's why supplying artificial DHT like Primo or Masteron would mitigate the aromatase enzyme, because we're basically adding a competitive inhibitor. Even if it has a low binding affinity for the androgen receptor, which is a theory, I don't know if it's accurate or not, it is a functional aromatase inhibitor.
Yes.
Well, shoot.
All right, Austin. Thank you for coming on, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate answering all those questions.
Appreciate your support.
Which actually brings up that whole theory where, like, you notice how the all-powerful Victor, creator of the black models.
I try not to say his name.
No, but he needs to hear it. Otherwise, I think he'll just die. It's like, remember, if you lock Pizza Hut in the car for too long, he eats himself. I think if Victor doesn't hear someone kiss his ass, he'll just end up dying. of a broken heart. So that
Did you say Pizza the Hut?
yeah,
Pizza the Hut.
I know. I was like, well, I haven't heard that in forever.
Oh, dude. So the thing is, I think he says that there's no rational explanation why all these idiots think Masteron causes hair loss. Okay, so let's break it down. If you're on test, not the studies that he lives in this glass bubble where he thinks reality is a study, but humans aren't lab rats. They don't take these drugs one at a time. So anybody taking Masteron is also probably taking test. So if you're taking Masteron, it inhibits the aromatase enzyme and stops the conversion to estrogen, which means more of that test has to go through the 5-alpha reductase pathway, and more DHT is produced. So if you don't have a DHT blocker in place, like DHT, a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor like Finasteride or Dutasteride, or you don't have a androgen receptor antagonist like RU58841 in place, you will have an increased hair loss from the Masteron.
That makes a lot of sense, man. I never considered it from that angle. So it's actually making more of the testosterone convert to DHT.
I see him talk about that all the time. I'm like, the only time that I ever had significant hair shedding was when I was blasting the fuck out of Masteron.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, I don't know how you can say it's not attributing to this.
Well, the counter argument they're going to make is that it's shedding, it's not androgenic alopecia.
Well, it
That's
never
the
came
reason
back.
You're taking what?
I said it never came back.
Well, so I think the whole idea is this, that you're pre-contest, you're in a high stress situation. You're on Tren, you're doing cardio, you're doing all this stuff. Like, people lose hair when they have a stressful life event. And so you are now stressing your system more. And that's the reason why you lost the hair. It's just you didn't throw in Masteron to the very end of prep. Therefore, you at the most stressful time. So there's correlation, but not causality. And of course, I'm presenting a theory as for causality that you've inhibited the aromatase enzyme, thus upregulating your DHT conversion of the testosterone because it has nowhere else to go.
That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so it makes it works both ways. So while we're inhibiting estrogen, we're upregulating DHT conversion.
And the proof of this is that in the studies where I did that deep dive on hair, and they found that Finasteride was making it into the bloodstream even when it was in topical application of the scalp, there was a 20% increase in testosterone, just like there was the decrease in DHT. What they didn't test, and they should have, is to see was there also a concomitant increase in estrogen. Because if there's two holes in a bag and there's water leaking out of the two holes and you plug one of the holes, you'd expect the rate of flow of the other hole to increase.
Right.
Unless they were at saturation point of. But then the body would then just upregulate the enzyme it needed. So if you use a competitive inhibitor for aromatase, your body just makes more aromatase. But if you also have a toxic level of testosterone building up, it'll make more 5-alpha reductase. That's why we don't do everyday injections. That's why we don't do twice a week or once a week injections, because we want to do everyday injections. So at never a point where it gets so high that your body's like flipping out. They're like, way too much testosterone. Let's upregulate these enzymes to break this testosterone down into its target hormones. We want to fly under the radar like a stealth bomber and not alert the body that there's a change.
Makes sense. Very good points.
I think I hogged the mic again.
I think you're good, man.
Did Paul freeze?
Spitting hot fire.
Paul froze.
Did he really? Oh, I thought.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
Looking at his phone.
Well, are we still being recorded?
He's just like
frozen.
He's transfixed.
Oh no.
Oh well.
I wonder if we're still being recorded.
He was trying to end it. Yeah, I wonder. Is it still?
Because the live counter is still going
as live. I don't have like control.
Well, do you notice people commenting like, "Yeah, you guys are"?
Oh yeah, it's. I look at it. It's. Oh, he's gone. And he's gone.
Oh man.
Well,
I guess
well.
if we all just leave, it ends, right?
I don't know how that works.
well, I don't
Oh,
want
man.
to. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at the live stream now.
Who
It's
is
definitely
the
still going.
actual producer right now? Is it you, Colin?
I mean, I don't have like all the control that Paul has on this platform.
But do you see the comments? Because it was you.
I see them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the comments are still coming in, so we are still live. Paul, he'll probably be back on momentarily.
How do you
then.
guys see the comments and I don't?
Paul has. Well, do you have YouTube open also, Chase? Are you?
Yeah,
seeing them on...
I have YouTube open.
Yeah.
Oh,
Paul has me on StreamYard with access, so I can like post questions and shit, so we can talk about it.
Okay, so I mean, it sounds like we're still live.
We are still live.
Do you
I
want
don't
to
know
just
how to
take
edit it,
questions so
though.
Paul logs back in?
Well, he was trying to leave.
Yeah, he said he's got
He's
clients
trying to
to
end
talk
it.
to.
Oh,
We'll just end this one super professionally, like a wet fart. And thanks so much, guys, for hanging out today. It was really fun and great information as always, Todd.
appreciate it.
And guys, I know we couldn't get to all of your questions this week, but please come back next week. And I try to, if I didn't get you this week, I'll try to get you next week, sort of thing. All right. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. We'll see you probably next Saturday. Deuces.
So I guess we just leave.
We're still live. We got to watch what we say. Well, Chase, it's been real. Come back and play with us again in the future.
Yep, that's right.
All right, buddy. I will talk to you later.
All right, dude.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
All right. Now I've got you guys all to myself. Our words for everyone. It's like Oprah with our words. So you get an R word, and you get an R word, and you get an R word. All right. I don't want to get Paul banned, so I'm just going to go. Bye, guys.
Well, guys, my power went out. So I'm going to end this. Sorry about that.